We're in Psalm 72, and I'll try to be brief today, but we're picking it up in about verse 7, 8. We left off yesterday. We're talking about the Messianic kingdom of Jesus. What a wonderful week to do it. As we cherish the Christmas story on a week like this, we need to frame that Christmas story in the bigger story, okay? This is not just about a baby or an inspiring figure. This is about God of all creation, the creator of the universe, becoming a man, the forever pre-existent Son of God, coming to earth and putting on a human body. And now he's in that glorified human body, but he stayed in that body, and he still has that body. You know, it's interesting, after the resurrection, Jesus still had his scars. And by all understanding, he still has them today. And when we see him, he will be in a body, and he will be wearing those scars for all of eternity. And that's a staggering and a humbling thought of the price that he not only paid, but the eternal price that he paid to put himself in a human body and to wear those scars forever and ever. Why? For you and for me, because he loves us and he wanted to redeem us. He could have destroyed us, and he would have been perfectly right as a judge to do so. But in love, he decided to redeem us and to save us. And one day he's going to reclaim us into that forever kingdom. And the word redemption in the New Testament is really full of that sense. It's not just that I have been redeemed. It is that I will be redeemed. He will one day literally, physically consummate that redemption. And that's what we're reading about. And we talked yesterday about flourishing in his kingdom with abundance and peace. Verse 8, it says, he, this is Jesus, shall have dominion also from sea to sea, and from the river unto the ends of the earth. So just geographically, his reign will be comprehensive. He'll have total control. We're talking about an all-wise king. We're talking about a perfect, holy, pure king, and an all-powerful king, and frankly, an omnipresent king. He's everywhere. This can be only Jesus. His reign will span the entire globe to the ends of the earth. And look at verse 9. And they that dwell in the wilderness shall bow before him, and his enemies shall lick the dust. I don't know what's wrong with my enunciation lately. I keep mispronouncing words a lot. His enemies shall lick the dust. What is this phraseology in verse 9? They that dwell in the wilderness. Well, literally, when you go to the Holy Land, there are these nomadic people that are way out in the middle of nowhere, and they live off of very, meager provisions. They live in tents. They go from oasis to oasis or to spring, and it's sort of a nomadic, disenfranchised, disconnected existence. It's kind of a people group that doesn't care about anybody else, and nobody really cares much about them. They're just completely impoverished and left to themselves and just kind of surviving. And it's kind of heartbreaking when you go to the Holy Land or where you go to other parts of the earth and you see these kinds of people. And they're everywhere, really. They're in America as well. If you go to Guatemala, where my brother serves, you go to the most remote regions of Guatemala, and there's people living this way. They're no threat to any government. No government's really a threat to them. They're just barely surviving. And I say nobody cares about them. They don't really care about anybody else. I'm talking about just in general, okay, the population of planet Earth. But the sense of this verse is that Jesus cares about them. And they will come under his rule and reign. And what that means is provision and protection and safety and abundance and flourishing, even for those people. So the sense of this in an ancient worshiper would have been that the reign of the Messiah will be abundant for even the most remote people. It will be flourishing for even the most disenfranchised, even the most unlovely, unlovable, filthy, those which society least values will come under the love and care and provision of Messiah. And then this phrase, and his enemies shall lick the dust. I love that phrase because there's a lot of enemies of Jesus right now today. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of powers on planet Earth that if he were to come back today, and he could, if he were to come back today, they would ball their fists up, they would gather their military might, and they would try to take him down. They would want to destroy him. And there really is no threat. There's no threat to Jesus, and there's no threat to the follower of Jesus. There's no threat to the people that belong to God. The worst enemies will be licking the dust. It's a phrase, it's a metaphor. We don't really use it today, but it's a metaphor that they'll be flattened, okay? He will flatten them. It's kind of the same as in the previous verse, the cutting down of the grass, or like Isaiah, the cutting down of trees. It's a picture of God just flattening anybody that will resist his love and care and provision for his creation. He will be a perfect, righteous judge that will rule in peace and flourishing happiness and hope, and anybody that's a threat to that, he will flatten. Verse 10, the kings of Tarshish and the isles shall bring presents. The kings of Sheba and Seba shall offer gifts. Yea, all kings. So verse 10 was foreshadowed in Solomon. Solomon was the envy of the world. But look at verse 11. It points right back to Jesus. Yea, all kings shall fall down before him. All nations shall serve him. Oh, my friend, we could do this forever, and I hope this isn't boring to you. We're just tracking through and unfolding the promises of God, and they're huge. And the implications of these promises are huge for your heart and mine today in 2021. You know, if you turn on the news today, you're going to read about China encroaching and building up and amassing, threatening Taiwan. You're going to read about Russia amassing on the border of Ukraine. You're gonna read about migrants flooding across the southern border of the U.S., longing and desperate for hope and for safety and security. And whatever your political views about all this, okay, you can't read the Bible without stepping back and looking at the big picture of this and seeing this place is a mess. Planet Earth is a mess, and people are in trouble. People are living every day under threats. And it could be a personal threat. You might be expecting a call from a doctor right now. It could be just that up-close personal threat, but it could just be the civil, the global state of things. I've been praying a lot in recent weeks for the people of Arkansas. You know, it's crazy to think what that tornado, a couple of tornadoes did. They were on the ground for hundreds of miles in a way that the country has never seen. There's not on record any kind of storm like that just wiped off the map entire towns. There are entire cities of people. And I was in Kentucky. Getting those states interposed. Kentucky, I was just there not even a year ago with Don Sisk. And we were just within a few miles of some of these cities. And you drive through these towns and they're just small, local, just small town America. And people have lived there for generations. And entire homes and churches and cities and city halls and chambers of commerce, they have been just decimated. And we look at that and our hearts break. But we look at Scripture and our hearts revive with hope. And it reminds me of that song. Was it Henry Wadsworth Longfellow? I heard the bells on Christmas Day. And how he gets so despairing. There is no peace on earth, I said. This God is not good and things don't look good. Then tolled the bells more loud and deep. God is not dead, nor doth he sleep. The wrong shall fail, the right prevail, with peace on earth, goodwill toward men. This is the sense of this psalm. Psalm 72 is a Christmas psalm, but it's a big Christmas psalm. It's not a little baby in a manger Christmas psalm. It's big. So let your heart marinate in that today. Happy Wednesday. Have a great day. And I'll see you tomorrow.